Have you ever noticed how society treats love in old age as if it's something wrong, shameful, or even unnecessary? Many say that after 70, love has passed, that this stage of life is only for remembering the past, taking care of your health, and waiting for time to pass. But who decided that? Who wrote that rule? Does the heart understand age? Does the desire for affection, for closeness, simply disappear just because time has gone by? Some say that after losing a lifelong partner, it makes no sense to open your heart to someone new, that no one will take that place, that no one will love the same way. And maybe that's true. But it's also true that love never comes to replace. It comes to add. It comes to fill new spaces. It comes in a different color, a different tone, a different way. But it still comes. And it can bring back feelings you thought were buried forever. Many people feel guilty just for thinking about falling in love again. They feel like they're betraying the memory of the one who's gone. But do you really think the person who passed would want you to spend the rest of your life alone, in pain, missing them, without hope of smiling again? Is loving again disrespectful? Or is it an act of courage, of life, of gratitude for everything that's still ahead? The truth is, we weren't made to live alone. Human beings were made to be together, to share, to divide the day, the coffee, the conversation, the silence. And in old age, that becomes even more important, because time seems to pass more slowly, because the days feel longer, because company doesn't come as often anymore, and because children, grandchildren, family, as much as they love you, they have their own lives, and you're left there remembering, missing, something you might not even know how to explain. Now tell me, how many times have you thought about someone, about a hug you miss, a kiss that hasn't happened in years, an afternoon chat with someone who really listens? That's longing, but it's also a desire to live again, a desire to start over, and that desire is valid, it's beautiful, it's powerful. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that your heart still beats with purpose. It doesn't matter if you have wrinkles, back pain, white hair, or if you don't move as easily anymore. Love doesn't demand youth, it demands presence. Affection doesn't need a perfect body, it needs willingness. Passion doesn't need a long future, it needs a sincere present. And yes, all of that can still happen. It can happen at 70, at 80, at 90, because time doesn't erase the ability to love. It only hides it sometimes, out of fear, out of habit, out of shame. But what if you put the fear aside just for a moment? What if you gave yourself a chance to live something new, without comparison, without expecting it to be like the past, just new, just real? And if this new story doesn't last 50 years, that's okay. Let it last 1, 2, 5, but let it be lived fully, gently, joyfully, because the time that remains is valuable, and it can be much more beautiful when it's shared. A lot of people think passion is for the young, that butterflies only happen in adolescence, but that's not true. The body still feels, even with age. The heart still races, the voice still trembles, hands still sweat, desire still grows. The spark in your eyes still returns. All of this still happens as when your soul allows it, when your mind makes space, when your heart meets someone who sparks it again. It could happen in a senior group, in line at the pharmacy, at church, anywhere. What matters is being open. Of course, after a great loss, pain hurts, absence aches, and grief must be lived. But grieving doesn't mean living in loneliness for the rest of your life. It's possible to miss someone and still allow yourself to smile again. The love you lost will always be part of your story, but the future can still be rewritten with new colors. Science proves that affection is one of the most powerful medicines we have. People who live alone for long periods are more at risk for depression, heart disease, memory loss. But those who maintain emotional connections, even after losing a partner, tend to live longer, healthier, more energized lives. Touch, affection, hugs, all of that activates parts of the brain that fight stress, boost immunity, and bring energy. So it's not just about romance, it's about health. It's about living with emotional dignity. So why should you fall in love again? Because you're still here, Because you're still breathing, because you still feel, because you still deserve to, because love is part of being human, because your life didn't end when they left, because you still have chapters left to write, even if the book feels like it's in its final pages. Starting over isn't easy. It takes courage. You'll face people's looks, your family's opinions, the judgment of those who think they know everything. But none of them live what you live. None of them feel what you feel when you close your eyes at night. None of them know the kind of loneliness that lives deep in your soul. And allowing yourself to love again is a gift you give yourself. A gift that could completely change your everyday life. Can you imagine feeling your heart race again? Waiting excitedly for a phone call, picking an outfit more carefully because you're going to see someone special, laughing at silly things, making simple plans like a Sunday lunch or an evening walk? Little things, but they make all the difference, because that's what life is made of, moments that warm you from the inside. Loving after 70 might be the bravest form of love, because it's a love that understands the value of time. That doesn't want to waste it. That's not in a rush, but also doesn't have time to lose. It's a love that knows youth fades, but the desire to be close remains. A love that's more mature, more peaceful, more real, and for that reason alone, even more beautiful. If you're hearing this now and feel like something inside you wants to wake up, don't ignore it. Pay attention to that feeling. It might be life giving you another chance. It might be your heart asking for help. It might be a sign that there's still so much to live, and yes, you can live it all again, with respect for the past but hope in the present. Believe me, falling in love after 70 isn't a betrayal of anyone's memory. It's a tribute to life. It's proof that despite everything, you still choose to feel, to open up, to trust. It's not about forgetting. It's about moving forward, gently, honestly, lovingly. And if anyone judges you, remember, you're the one who feels. You're the one who lives it. You're the one who pays the price of loneliness. So let it also be you who reaps the rewards of love. Falling in love at 70 isn't madness, it's wisdom. It's having lived long enough to know that love has no age, that joy has no expiration date, that life, right up to the last second, can still surprise you. You've lived through so much. You've cried, you've laughed, you've lost, you've won. Now is the time to live for the joy of it, to feel without fear, to love by choice, and to show everyone, and especially yourself, that age doesn't limit the heart. And if this video touched your heart in any way, take a second and subscribe to the channel. Here you'll find more content made especially for you, with respect, love, and truth, because life goes on, and we want to keep going with you. Falling in love later in life is often treated like a plot twist, unexpected, rare, maybe even unnecessary. But the truth is, it should be seen as something natural, something deeply human. After all, if the heart still beats, if the soul still feels, then love remains entirely possible and essential. As we age, our social circles often begin to shrink. Retirement can mean fewer daily interactions. Friends and partners may pass away. Families grow busy. And while solitude can be peaceful, loneliness, chronic, gnawing loneliness, is something else entirely. It's more than just an emotion. It's a health hazard. In fact, studies from institutions like the CDC and National Institute on Aging reveal that loneliness is as damaging to physical health as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It increases the risk of heart disease by 29%, the risk of stroke by 32%, and significantly elevates the chance of developing dementia. In older adults, social isolation has been linked to higher rates of depression, anxiety, cognitive decline, and even earlier death. That's not just opinion, that's hard science. But here's the good news. Love, affection, and meaningful human connection are some of the most powerful antidotes we have. They activate parts of the brain associated with pleasure, calm the nervous system, lower blood pressure, and boost the immune system. A hug, a soft touch, a conversation with someone who genuinely listens. These aren't luxuries. They're medicine. They're healing. And yet, How many older adults are told, subtly or directly, that seeking new love is inappropriate, that it's too late or too strange? It's an idea rooted in outdated thinking, in the misconception that aging must always mean fading. But what if aging instead could mean blooming in a new way? Imagine this: you're 75. You've lived a full life, raised a family, built a career, made it through heartbreak, joy, illness, and celebration. And one day, unexpectedly, someone makes you smile. Really smile. The kind of smile you forgot was possible. The kind that wakes something up inside you. That tiny spark, a laugh shared at the grocery store, a gentle compliment at a community gathering, can be the beginning of something beautiful. Something you never knew you needed again until it found you. And no, it's not always about romance. Sometimes it's about friendship, companionship, the warmth of simply being seen and valued. In old age, that kind of connection becomes even more profound because it's chosen, because it's not about building a future, but honoring the present. For many seniors, however, the path to connection isn't easy. Mobility issues, fixed incomes, grief, or fear of judgment often keep people isolated. That's why community matters. That's why family support is so important. If you're a son, a daughter, a grandchild, encourage the elders in your life to engage, not withdraw. Ask them what makes them feel alive. Take them to community events. Help them sign up for senior groups or book clubs or dance nights. Better yet, go with them. You might be surprised by what they share or who they meet. There are more spaces for connection now than ever before. Senior centers offer game nights, exercise classes, potlucks, art workshops. Many churches and synagogues host social events specifically for older adults. Local libraries often offer adult education programs that double as meeting grounds for new friendships. Even technology, once considered the domain of the young, is opening doors. Websites and apps designed for the 60-plus community, like Stitch or Silver Singles, are helping thousands find both romance and companionship. They are safe, simple, and tailored to older users. All it takes is a bit of curiosity and a little courage. For those hesitant to try, consider this. When you stop trying new things, your world gets smaller. Your days become more predictable, less joyful. But when you say yes, even to something small, your world begins to expand again. You rediscover parts of yourself you thought were gone. Laughter comes easier. You sleep better. You feel seen. And what if you're grieving? What if your partner of 40 or 50 years has passed? What if you feel that loving again is somehow a betrayal? That's a deeply personal feeling, and one that deserves compassion. But here's something to reflect on. Love lost does not mean love must be locked away forever. Your past relationship shaped you. It gave you memories, strength, and maybe even your family. But loving again doesn't replace that. It honors it by proving that your heart still has more to give, that life, even in its later chapters, is still worth writing in bold. There's no time limit on when you're allowed to start again. The only timeline that matters is yours. And yes, people will talk. Some might not understand. They might raise their eyebrows, whisper, question your choices. But here's what matters. They're not the ones who go home to silence. They're not the ones who miss being hugged for no reason, who wish someone asked about their day. They don't carry your stories, your needs, your longing. You do. And if there's a chance for your days to be a little brighter, take it. Maybe you meet someone in your painting class or at a local cafe where you always order the same tea. Maybe it's someone you've known for years but never really seen until now. Or maybe it's a new friend you meet while volunteering at an animal shelter or community garden. The setting doesn't matter. What matters is being open to it. What matters is knowing you're allowed to want more. And it's not just about you either. When older adults find love or companionship, it sends a powerful message to younger generations. It shows them that aging isn't an ending, it's a transformation. That joy, vulnerability, and growth don't belong to the young. They belong to the living. That's a legacy worth leaving. If you're a caregiver or family member, support your loved one by listening, not judging. If your parent wants to date again, help them navigate that journey. Teach them how to use a smartphone, how to video chat, how to stay safe online. Celebrate their courage. Invite them to share. Offer kindness, not control. And if you're an older adult thinking, maybe this message is for me, trust that instinct. You're not silly. You're not selfish, you're human. You're still becoming. So go to that local class, say hello to that kind person you always see at the park. Join that group you've been curious about. Let people in. Let the laughter come. Let the spark return. Because whether you're 70 or 90, it's not too late to live something extraordinary. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever loved again later in life? Are you thinking about it now? What's holding you back or pushing you forward? Share your experience in the comments. Someone out there might need to read exactly what you write. If this message touched you, leave a like. It helps more people find this kind of content. Share it with a friend or family member who might need to hear it. And if you're not already subscribed to Aging Every Day, hit that subscribe button now. We're here for you, with love, respect, and the kind of honesty that feels like home. And finally, if these words helped you today, take a second to send a kind message to someone else. A word of encouragement, a text, a voice note. Because sometimes what we give is exactly what we receive. Aging isn't about fading, it's about becoming. Again and again. Take care, stay open to love, and remember, the heart doesn't age, it just gets wiser. Until the next video.